What's up, Arrowheads, and welcome to the Arrow Recap Show here on Collider Video. My name is Ann Campea, and I'm so happy to be here to talk about Season 4, Episode 17, Beacon of Hope. And allow me to introduce our series regulars, starting with Mr. Josh Macuga.
Hey guys, I'm covering my face in embarrassment for the behavior of the writers and directors of this episode.
And Michael Medina.
Hey guys, I'm happy to be here and to begin talking about this episode. That's a twofer.
And Jason Inman.
I just want to say that I kind of feel in tonight's episode that Oliver betrayed me.
So we are here to talk about Beacon of Hope and obviously talk about our positives, negatives, go into our predictions, and take your Twitter questions. Make sure to continue to tweet us at hashtag ColliderArrow. Send us your questions, and we may answer them on one of our future episodes. So let's talk about tonight's episode, you guys. Okay.
Start with Inman, please. Start with Inman.
Why?
Yes.
Jason.
The crickets.
I can't avoid this. I have to say it. I have to pull the Band-Aid off. The worst episode of Arrow ever.
Yeah.
That's what we watched tonight. Of all 4 seasons, they finally found a way to show us the worst episode of Arrow ever.
Yeah.
If this
Is that a
had been-
positive, I guess?
You outdid yourself this time, Lance.
I guess so. Well done.
I didn't think they could make Captain Lance look more of a baby. He's like, don't hit me, B. Don't get me.
I like when he climbed over Curtis.
Yeah, he frog
Leapfrogged
leaped
him.
Curtis.
Although a positive, he did have some great lines where he was just like, "Yeah, robotic bees. That's my job now." Yeah, like those are tiny positives. Just like the tiny bees.
Little tiny bee positives.
Well, look, I think obviously it wasn't a great episode. I think my reaction is Oliver's face, which is in this picture behind me.
Looking down in disappointment.
Yes, in disappointment. But I will say Curtis was my favorite part of the episode. If we're going to talk a little bit about positives, he did kind of enhance the episode for me.
I agree 100%. I love Curtis on this show. Yeah, I think it was inevitable at some point. You know what I mean? Everybody knows the Arrow Cave. It's like Flash and Barry showing off his identity. Everyone, what's secret identity? You know? But I love Curtis, and I liked him being a member of Team Arrow.
Ding.
Do we have a dinger? Like,
We need a bell.
We do need a
Let's
bell.
tag it. That was like 5 times.
Curtis was totally a positive this episode.
Yes.
Also, I will say that I was really happy with the not the scene before the teaser, the scene right after the teaser, where it showed the team training together, and I like the fact that Oliver beat all of them, because that's a fact that I kind of feel is lost now that the
Agreed.
Team Arrow is like 7 members big now.
Yeah.
It kind of seems that like everybody is at the same ability as Oliver, and to me that scene powerfully reminded us that no, Oliver is the best fighter and he can easily take all of them.
It should be that way. I mean, the guy was on the island for 5 years, right? On the island, so he should be a badass, and he should be putting these guys in check. I mean, because you figure like Laurel got her training down at the Y, and you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And
She took her curves. They're
She
like,
did.
self-defense, guys.
So no, it makes sense. I like that scene.
Yeah,
too.
the
That was
episode
good.
started out that scene.
Yeah.
Great scene.
Cool, really
yeah,
cool.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
then from as soon as we saw Bee Lady again, oh man,
Yeah.
oh mama.
And the thing is I can stand one Arrow episode with a throwaway villain, which last week we had Cupid back, who was lovely, but I can't do 2 episodes in a row, especially when they didn't even throw any nuggets in for like something to make me excited about next week or anything in this
Even the
episode.
dark scenes were a little lame.
Yes.
A little
You know?
cartoonish. The whole episode kind of felt like, almost campy, almost like Batman, like 66 Batman-ish, like, "Whoa, Batman, I'm gonna get you." Just something like so corny and cheesy.
Can you imagine if like when the bees stung him, it was like, ow, sting, pow, like that flash to the old Batman.
They were this close to going that route.
Guys, I also want to raise the point too that this is the first episode of this season that the flashbacks were better than the regular episodes.
Yes.
There, that's a
There's
positive right there.
That's the first time in 2 seasons.
We're finding positives here. I would like to say that I actually thought that the chemistry between Thea and Felicity, which we rarely see. Like they never really have scenes together. Although, you know, when Felicity's just like kind of typing out of nowhere because like that's her reflex of whatever, her go-to reflex.
When she's
those were a
nervous,
little
she just
cheesy.
starts-
I don't know. But her and Thea really had some nice scenes together. Like, come back to the team. I'm not saying do it for Oliver. I'm not saying do it. Like, why? What are you gonna do here? You know what I mean? I actually kind of thought those were kind of some well-acted scenes. I just thought that the campiness of the bees and what we were getting with the bees and everybody really outweighed everything else. Like, it was so over the top that it just washed out. What we could have had were some really cool positives in the episode.
It was so over the top that it felt like we were watching an episode of Smallville.
Yes. Yeah.
Like this felt like an episode of Smallville, and I felt like I was watching the Green Arrow from Smallville.
And like Smallville season like 4. when
Yeah.
they were,
Like some of those
digging
rough
for-
scenes.
yeah. Like when Jonathan Taylor Thomas was like making a comeback.
Oh my God.
There were
JTT.
JTT. I will say though that, like you said, and you've been begging for T-spheres since they were even,
yes.
and they were sort of used again poorly, not as a
As
T-sphere,
bombs.
as
Yeah.
bombs. That was really cool. I thought that Mr. Terrific really did show an awesome side, and it would be a cool member to Team Arrow. And I think we got a lot of foreshadowing by saying, "And that's not for me, not being a superhero." And back to his are they married? His husband?
Yeah, they're
married.
They're
Yeah.
married. That he could join the crew and totally seamlessly kind of jump in.
I think he will, and Felicity
Yeah.
leaving, I think, set up the perfect chance. To be honest with you, I was always curious this entire season, like, how was Curtis going to join the team? Because I was like, okay, there's already too many members on this team.
Yeah.
But with Felicity being like, okay, I'm going to focus on Palmer Tech, it does make sense now that, that computer chair needs to be filled by Curtis.
For sure,
Yeah.
for sure. And the excitement that Curtis felt, you know, just kind of being a part of the team, even if it was for a few hours, reminded me of when Felicity initially joined the
Yeah.
team and her excitement
Yeah.
with the team and just like how in awe she was of being in
Those
that
were the
room
days.
with Arrow. Yeah, exactly. Those were the days. And then he kind of brought us
Those
back
were
to
the
that.
days. Yeah.
It's very, very nice to see. Again, Curtis. Curtis was the highlight. For me.
Although, where did Curtis get this weird parkour ability to do a backflip over some computers?
I will say
Where'd that
was-
come from?
Well, it's just like, and you were saying this, Ann, it's like Roy from like 2 seasons ago when he did that random like parkour.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We didn't expect that to come out, and then all of a sudden, I mean, maybe we'll get something like, I did some parkour training back at the Y back in the day.
Oh, I guess I just remember he was a triathlete.
Oh, right.
Remember that?
Yes,
Okay.
yeah,
I
he's an
retract.
Olympian.
I
Yeah.
retract my statement.
He's quite athletic.
You're gonna take
Yeah.
us part in the comments anyway, so
Yeah,
go for it.
whatever.
So you guys don't be surprised, but I have Dark being in prison as in my negatives. I feel
Okay.
like it was just a useless story, a plot point in this episode. Nothing happened really in this episode with Dark.
And he did the Dr. Evil laugh when he was like, "Yeah, get me this." Like, really? Come on. You haven't done that the entire show, and this is when we're going to get it when you're in prison. It was a kind of a waste of a prison scene. If you're going to do something, like have him break out or have him like get in with the guards, kind of be like Daredevil, where, you know, Wilson Fisk is taking over the prison. Spoiler alert, sorry guys. That Damien Darkh has a way over the prison guards, that he is kind of running that place
Well,
now.
Josh, I agree with you 100%. I was thinking the exact same thing with Daredevil and Wilson Fisk, because that's what it seemed like they were doing to me. Like he was trying to rebuild his empire, so, you know, behind bars. But we would needed a few more scenes to see him actually do that, where it just felt more of like a joke. He was very comical, like the laugh and stuff like that. And I didn't buy it.
And that prison is full of people that Oliver and Team Arrow has put away.
Yeah.
So if he could join all those people together, Arkham kind of style, and then zing zang, they're out running the shit.
Can we also talk about the big elephant that was in the ending?
Yeah.
Andy Diggle is still a traitor.
Yeah.
And that actually is in my negatives as well, because I don't know, that kind of ending for me, like that he's still evil, is kind of cliche. Like I kind of figured that this was coming, but I kind of hoped that the show was going to do the high road and show the two Diggles recreating their relationship, and then Andy was maybe going to die as a good guy. Like I didn't figure. I kind of don't see any way Andy makes it out of the season alive.
Right.
Well, shows like this always like to throw curveballs, so I'm gonna hope that maybe Andy's, you know, going
A double
undercover.
traider?
Maybe maybe, you know, it's possible. We've
Yeah,
seen
it's
stuff
true.
like this before, so yeah.
Yeah, or at least
Wouldn't rule
ease
that out.
into the traitorness. You know, like we haven't seen Andy in how many episodes, and all of a sudden, he's in the car
It's
and
like
he's
3 or 4.
meeting
Yeah.
with Malcolm, and he's a traitor, just out of nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
Just at least kind of build it up, like Jason's saying, like build the relationship between him and Diggle, and then hit us with it.
Yeah.
Right? So there was really no impact for me seeing Andy in the car, to be honest with you guys. But I don't know, what do you guys think in terms of his purpose from this episode on to the finale?
I mean, I've said it before. We've talked about it. I just don't really care about Andy's character. He's been dead since season 1, and that was the impetus for Diggle, kind of joining Team Arrow to kind of get revenge for his brother. But they kept him in that creepy Silence of the Lambs jail cell in the middle of nowhere. All he did was fight with his brother, and then we thought he was on the drugs of Hive, and he may or may not have been. We haven't really seen him do anything to lead up to this point. I think we needed a little more Andy Diggle to be invested in him, to be like, oh, he's a traitor. He was doing so well, but he's really that whole thing doesn't really have much of a payoff.
And I'm hoping that if he is in fact playing Merlin, that this is the chance, the opportunity that we will get to actually fall in love with his character and actually care about what he has to do.
Give him some kind of a
Something.
gravitas.
Well, how much greater would this episode have been if this was the episode where we saw Andy working with Team Arrow
Instead of a throwaway
bees.
B villain? Correct. Yeah.
Let's talk about the bee villain, Brie Larvan.
Brie Larvan.
That's
Brie
an
Larvan?
awesome name, by the
That's
way. Bee lady.
She was in B room. Brie Larvan, Brie Larson. No, guys, no. Thanks.
If I had to choose, I'd choose Cupid over Brie.
I
for
would
sure.
too.
Yeah.
And that's not really saying anything.
I know. I don't really know what that means.
We didn't get a live stream that had a custom watermark of a beehive, of honeycomb.
Yeah.
That was the one thing that threw it off for me the whole time, was like, this girl, not only did she hack it, but she has her custom watermark.
No,
on
she
each
had
name.
she had the Snapchat filter on,
Yep.
and somebody on their iPhone
Evil
was just
Dead camera.
shooting the whole episode with their phone.
But see, they took it even a step further from that by having the bees form into some man who wears leather and looks like Yellow Jacket from Ant-Man.
yeah.
And he's so slow, and yet Oliver can't beat him, even with how slow that dude is.
Bizarre.
We all were watching that
Bizarre.
going, why is he so...
Yeah, it was
Well
like,
done, Andy.
It was like Kirk fighting the Gorn. It was like, yeah, go watch that reference on YouTube. You'll get it.
Yeah.
I mean, I would have thought that transformation from the bees into that man would have been cool. Like when I first saw it, I was like, "Oh crap, that was
flat.
kind of cool." But then again, like useless after that.
Yeah, kind of no payoff.
One thing
Yeah.
that was kind of fun, and I guess you were talking about references. There are a lot of pop culture references in this episode.
Too many, I think.
I mean,
It was like one every 3 minutes.
The Harry Potter, funny.
That
Yes,
was
I
good.
enjoyed that.
Yeah.
After that, it just became a Family Guy episode.
I think
of pop culture
Lance made a
references.
reference to like Independence Day, did
Yep.
he? Something like
Yeah.
that. Like just the whole.
And there was
episode-
a Die Hard reference, which
Yeah.
we all referenced when they climbed into the air vents.
Exactly.
It's like, come on, have a few months.
And that was my biggest problem with this episode. It just felt too campy, too out of place. The show isn't like that.
Right.
It's never
Yeah.
been like that.
Curtis referencing the Borg from Star Trek.
Yes.
But there was a great reference when Curtis put together that Oliver was the Green Arrow, and he said that, oh, I thought the Green Arrow was Neil Adams in accounting,
Yeah.
which Neil Adams is a Green Arrow artist, very legendary
cool.
comic book writer.
Green Arrow, Green Lantern, and back in the 70s.
Yep, the hard traveling hero storyline. Have you ever heard of that?
That's awesome. Were there any other Easter eggs you guys caught on to?
Not that I caught.
Nothing?
No.
No, I didn't see anything.
Yeah. All right. Well, I guess
You're asking the wrong guy for Easter eggs, guys.
Josh
I'm like, who's Hal Jordan?
I know.
Is that Michael
I know. Who can believe it?
well, look, we're gonna try to stretch.
Do you believe in
here.
miracles? No, this episode.
We've got about 50 Twitter questions we're going to take now.
It's a special mailbag episode.
It
of
is
the
a
Arrow
mailbag
recap
'cause
show.
We need to.
Okay,
that conversation
before
goes
we
back.
get to Twitter, then let's again reconfirm who we have in the grave, because for me, this episode gave me no indication again as to who is in the grave at the end of the season.
We basically
So-
got 2 filler episodes.
Yeah.
Since
Yeah.
since
since the
break.
break,
Yeah.
which is again kind of disappointing. But Josh, who's in the grave?
I'm sticking with Thea.
Okay, you have to.
She had this-
We have
We
to.
agreed.
Yeah, we have to.
Oh wait, we're talking about what we talked about last week, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
we
you
have to
can't
stay with the
change.
person.
Okay,
Yeah.
so this
just
is
reminding.
Right.
Just reminding
so
everybody.
I'm sticking with Thea. I thought she had a really nice episode this episode. She didn't have really any bad action sequences. She and Felicity really did some awesome things with Mama Smoke. I thought she had some good leadership roles, and for the most part, this was kind of a really nice respite from the Beehive, aka Brie Larvae, and Brie Larvan. Sorry, Larvae would be her post chrysalis
Brie
before
Larson.
Brie Larson. But leading towards, if she is in that grave, I would. She had a season that could take her there, I think.
All right. I'm sticking with Diggle. And I think, at least with the reintroduction of Andy into this episode, perhaps there's a reason why Diggle might come to his rescue and be sacrificed at the end of the season. I don't know.
Can you see the shot of Oliver holding that crappy helmet and dropping it into the grave and then like walking away?
No, he's supposed to have a new helmet, right? Isn't that happening still?
Well, it was mentioned on Flash, and then it didn't happen.
Yeah.
Okay.
And his helmet looks the same.
All right, Michael.
Lance is my guy. I know there's a rumor of Laurel floating around, and it's a solid rumor. You know, if I had to go with someone else, that would probably be it, but I'm sticking to Lance. He's fun in this episode. I love Lance. I don't want him to die, but again, like he even said, like, that's my life now, you know? It's like, what else is there really for him to do at this point, you know?
Can Jason do the impression?
Yeah, I'm not. I'm
quick?
sorry. I
That's
tried.
my life. That's what I'm saying here. You know, it's like I'm in this damn cave. Beast. What's beast?
Talk about Captain Lance. Could you talk about the scene where you're running from B and you have to frog hop Mr. Terrific? If you could walk us through that process.
Well, I saw this guy. He hopped over the computers, and I was like, I didn't learn that as a police. How do you do that?
Can we just do like 30 minutes of this interview?
I don't get
Captain Lance. Captain Lance does the hits. Now, what are we throwing up as our as a team bet? Because we all have people
Wait,
now.
Jason.
Oh,
has
Jason.
first.
Sorry, my bad.
First Jason's. First
My bad.
Jason's.
It's Laurel. I know.
Laurel.
I know. I'm the flip flopper because I started with Detective Lance. I went to Thea, but now I really feel it's Laurel because I'm throwing out a crazy prediction, and this has to do with some of those photos that we talked about last week that are out there of a funeral. I think when we finally see the funeral revealed fully, it's going to be the funeral from this season contrasted, juxtaposed against the funeral for Sarah after they found out the boat went down. When they think that Oliver and Sarah is dead. And the reason why I think they're going to do that is because if it's Laurel in the grave, we get to see Lance's reactions to 2 funerals for both of his daughters.
I cry. That's sad.
And they like to make Lance cry.
Yeah,
They really
he's a
do.
good cry. Can you cry for us, quick, Lance?
No bag, take out a bee with a coffee pot.
He really did that. I totally forgot.
And we forgot that Mr. Terrific screamed "ooh"
Oh, yeah. Ew.
because crushing an animatronic bee is disgusting.
Rightfully so.
Okay, I will say there is a couple Twitter fans out there that every week or on YouTube be like, "What about his son? And what about his like the son's
Baby
mother?" I'm
mama.
like, who cares if they're in the grave? To be honest with you,
They
I
put that
really
story
hope
to
they're
bed.
not.
yeah, we don't.
It's done.
There's nothing to them. They've been in 3 total episodes in the whole series. There's no gravitas to them being in the grave. I'm sorry.
It's a regular
Who cares?
cast member. It's definitely
Yeah.
a regular cast
Yeah,
member.
at
To
least
be
we
honest with
align
you,
on
I
that.
think it is. I think it is definitely one of these 4 that we have.
Yeah.
Ooh, I like it. And now, what did we talk about last week? What is our bet? Or are we going to do we're going to do a poll of the fans?
Well, I think I don't know. We should have talked about that off camera.
My bad. Can we cut that part?
No, fans, tell us
Oh,
what
let
you
us-
think the bet should be. I mean, they can comment
Okay,
and let
so
us know.
I
Tweet us.
think we should do something, and I think they should get something.
Yeah.
For sure.
I think like even if it's one of these action figures that we have on our desk, they
Ooh.
get
There
the
you
choice
go.
of their action
I
figure.
like
Yeah.
that.
Okay.
Well, pick me because I'm going to be the winner. So,
I can't believe you would go there.
Twitter questions. Let's do it, you guys.
Okay. I'll rip them up here off the old tweet device. Okay, here we go. At the end of this episode, when Malcolm approaches Andy, now this guy thinks that Lila might be in the grave. Do we at all think that would even be a payoff?
No.
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 Well, definitely not a payoff.
We rarely ever see her anyways.
Right?
It'd be hard for Diggle.
I
but
think the reason that maybe they're doing that is because Lila had that crossover with Flash, where she was in that Flash episode, and I think that's the reason why they're going for Lila. But Lila is the same thing as Oliver's son or the baby mama, who I forget her name.
Samantha?
Samantha, I think.
Yeah.
No payoff. There's no payoff if it's one of those 3 people.
I think it needs to be something that really affects the entire team
Yeah.
and not just one member.
Yeah.
So that came from @IndiaJ85. This comes from @AA After Monday, do you think the DC TV multiverse would ever do an Infinite Crisis-like event? Monday being the Supergirl Flash crossover. If you guys aren't familiar with what's going on there, we kind of talked about this before we went on air. Jason, you had kind of an interesting.
Well,
thing to
Infinite
say.
Crisis, of course, is one of those storylines, just like Crisis on Infinite Earth, which has been hinted in The Flash, where they have established that all the other heroes from the different Earths come together to fight a same threat. I have a feeling that if Supergirl gets renewed, that next year, I have a feeling she'll be lost on the CW shows, and we'll see her on Legends, Arrow, and Flash.
That would be cool.
on the CW side of things.
I agree because I know the ratings spiked for that episode
Yep.
of Supergirl
Yeah.
because, with Flash. So I just don't see now because I know a lot of people are like, oh, it's not going to happen. Berlant even said that it wasn't going to happen. I'm like, no, it's got to happen.
Yeah.
How
Yeah.
did it not?
Absolutely.
And it did. So and it was a success. So there's no way they're not going to do that next season.
And see, and network TV doesn't have the same kind of loyalty that a CW or any of the cable kind of stations do, where they might renew Supergirl for season 2, but they might not show all the episodes.
That's true.
Do you know what I'm saying?
I just think that, like, how interesting it will be, because I think Oliver will have an interesting reaction to Supergirl, to this basically impossible to stop girl.
Yeah.
Like, because Barry has superpowers, so when he met Supergirl, he was kind of like, oh, you're cool, you're just like me. I think Oliver could almost have a reaction like we saw in Batman v Superman.
Yeah.
Could be like, I don't know if I trust you
Yeah.
because you don't seem real.
Yeah.
Okay. No, I'm with you guys.
I
Just
know
thinking, am I not allowed to think
So
on the
I'm
show?
thinking- I do think it's
I know I
amazing.
wouldn't trust her.
I mean, I do think it's amazing that we have 4 shows on right now that have the potential to cross over with each other.
it's
And
fantastic.
you
I
have
love
to,
it.
Obviously I hope it improves in terms of the way that the showrunners can decide what crosses over with what. But just the idea and the realization that we have 4 shows on TV that can do that is quite amazing.
One of the best episodes of Arrow this season was the Legends of Tomorrow Arrow
Yes.
episode
Yeah.
in the future.
And that was about Hawkman.
Yeah.
Who would have thought? It was
Christ. This one comes from @Harris V9. Do we all think the death of a member of Team Arrow is happening next week? Seems too soon.
What?
good. And what do you think about
Did we
that?
have a flash? What was
No,
in the
it was
what
in
was
the-
in the
the-
trailer?
Well, the
The
trailer
preview.
for next week hints
Yeah.
that the death happens next week.
Yeah.
It does.
Yes, it really applies. But
You
we've been fooled
guys.
before
We have.
because they did the same thing with us with Felicity was shot by Damien Darkh. They did the same thing to us when
Wedding.
we saw the wedding, the
Yep.
fake wedding.
Well, I think Jason, you said we have next week's episode and then we have another break.
Yes, we have next week's episode, and then I think we have a 2-week break, and then we're solid to the finale.
Okay,
which doesn't
so-
happen until the end of May.
There's potential. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they use next week's episode
Does it
again
give
as
us
a
five-
cliffhanger.
They give us 5 episodes.
Right.
Yes.
Right. So I
mean,
could see
it's
it
gotta
happen.
happen soon.
Yeah.
Right.
It does have to happen soon.
And it would make
Definitely.
sense for it to happen before this little mini break. So
Yeah.
they can leave us with all like a little cliffhanger. So
Yeah.
I could see
And a
that
chance
happening.
for redemption.
I at least hope it happens before the finale. That way that we get the whole finale to react to it. I really don't want it to be the last scene of this season.
Agreed.
I worry that that's what it's going to be. But I don't want to wait the summer for the resolution. I want to see the resolution this season.
Or at least a trend towards a resolution with a good
Right.
cliffhanger.
Yeah.
Right.
This one comes from @NickHGMN96. Was it just me, or did this episode really tease an Oliver Laurel rekindle?
Agreed.
Yes.
Cheers
Yeah.
to that. Yeah.
I feel like they've been doing that like for the last 4 episodes,
About half
3
the
episodes,
season.
something
Yeah,
like that.
yeah.
Yeah, they've been kind of like just sparking up the rumors again. I don't know if it's gonna happen. For all we know, maybe it's just a tease Laurel's death. Maybe I don't know.
This was-
Ooh, well,
you know?
okay, that right there, what you just set up is
Sets up Jason's big win.
Well,
Yeah,
yeah,
it does.
there is an interesting tenet in fiction to always give a character their best day before you give them their worst day.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And to have them rekindle right before she dies would be a gut punch.
Because
Yeah.
she seems okay right now, you know, like
seems great.
she's coping
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
She's out of her drug
She's a
addiction.
good lawyer,
She's
finally.
a good lawyer. She's okay with Daddy Lance, you know. Yeah, and she's made amends with Oliver to the point where she can highlight the bad things that happened in the relationship in terms of her advice to him
Yeah.
in dealing with Felicity and with life. So, oh gosh, that's good.
Yeah.
That could happen.
Zing,
Can I,
zing.
does that mean I can get at least half of that win? Just saying.
All right, let's do like 2 more.
Sure, two
Sure.
more.
@Cuban_Superman. Curtis finally got to be a part of the team tonight. How long do you think it'll take before he becomes a full-time member?
Next
do you think,
episode.
I think that it's going to trend towards like by the last 2 episodes of the season, he's going to be a permanent fixture in that cave. Because I think Felicity is really trying to get out of it. She's going to be more of like a conciliary or a consultant to Mr. Terrific, but he's going to be the new fixture in that cave. I mean, he was so excited about it, and he looked good when he did that parkour thing over the thing. So, the heck.
I think they'll present a reason for him to kind of just be forced back into that role, right? I mean, he in this episode went back to his partner and said, "It's not for me." But there's going to be a situation where I think he's maybe something happens with
I
his
think you
partner.
are right. I think it is next episode. Like, because
Right.
this show doesn't wait for anything.
No.
Right.
Remember, Felicity's gunshot wound was resolved in one episode.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So
And I'm just throwing this out there again. I'm just all about grave talk all of a sudden. I don't know. I'm still sticking to Lance. I'm not changing anything.
Good try, Medina.
But I'm just saying, I do agree still with Curtis joining the group next episode.
Yeah, I think
I
it'll happen
still
next
think it's
episode.
going to happen. Now we're talking about like someone that could be in the grave that could potentially affect the whole team. We saw how excited Curtis was to join this team. He had that enthusiasm that Felicity once had. How much would that suck if he was so excited and he was the one in the grave? Maybe we never get the T-Spheres going with this. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but I'm just throwing that
although I will
theory
say,
out there.
sad fact, I know how much you love those T-Spheres. I don't think we see him until season finale.
Medina's just turning this thing into a mass grave. He's like, throw a message for everybody.
Just throw everybody in there.
All right, finally, this one comes from @ElmsLaura. Hey, everyone. Hey, Laura. How long will it take for Donna to figure out that Oliver is the Green Arrow and about the team?
Okay, I got it, you guys.
Go.
So next episode, Donna needs to use the bathroom, and she's walking
She goes to the
around,
abandoned building?
and she's like, "Is there a bathroom in here?" Opens the door, and everybody's in the lair.
And she's like, oh, hey, guys.
Hey guys, so I know I was just talking about the grave talk and everything. So I'm just kidding. I'm good with Mama Smoke. But no, I think they're gonna wait a little bit. I think they're gonna hold off a little because now it's just getting ridiculous. I mean, it's been ridiculous already. I shouldn't say it's just getting, but they just introduced Curtis to the group. I think they're at least gonna wait.
Yeah,
maybe even next season.
I was gonna say, I think we're not gonna get it this season.
Yeah.
As much as we've been joking about everybody finding this cave,
Yeah.
I don't think that Mama Smoke finds it this season. I think the only way that she might find it is if, Felicity goes back with the group. Lance is always with the group, and she's all left alone. Like, where are you guys always going? And then she like does her little sleuth thing, and she finds the arrow cave.
Her sleuthing?
Her sleuth thing.
What in
what
the
she's
show
known
proves
for.
that she's a sleuther?
She played Carmen Sandiego once when she was a little bit younger. You're right, Inman. I know.
She's a sleuther.
She, she gets.
Behave, Josh.
Sorry. She gets like jealous of Lance, or she thinks he's cheating on her or whatever, and he follows her.
What's happening?
I'm trying to make a
I
scenario.
feel like you're pitching like an episode of Young and the Restless.
Yeah. We kind of got one of those today, guys.
We
so-
did with bees.
Yes, with these.
Is that it?
That's it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's all we have to say about this week's episode. Make sure to continue to tweet us using the hashtag #ColliderArrow. We will take your questions, theories, and thoughts on tonight's episode. What did you think about the Bee Lady and all these other things that happened? Make sure to like this video, share it, subscribe to Collider Video, and leave a comment. We definitely check those as well. So, that being said, let's start with Jason. Where can people find you if they want to talk more?
You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube @Jawin, JAWIIN, and on a podcast on iTunes called Geek History Lesson.
And Michael?
Guys, I just finished watching Justice League versus the Teen Titans. Let's talk about that. Please, let's talk about that. But you can do that on Twitter @Mr. Michael Alexis or on Instagram @Mr. Michael Alexis14.
And Josh, I almost called you Jason. I'm
Oh,
sorry.
it's fine.
Whatever, same
Sure.
thing, right?
We're all the same over here. You guys can find me on Facebook. No, I just went there. No, bombed it.
You tried, man.
I
You tried.
One more B reference. At Twitter and Instagram @Josh Macuga. You can find me here every Monday doing Collider TV talk, and on Sundays the season finale of Walking Dead here on Collider, and on April 11th the premiere of the Josh Macuga Show on my YouTube channel, The Josh Macuga Show.
No longer between the sheets.
Nailed it!
Nice. You had it. That was
Crushed it.
Yeah, I don't have a beat. Wow, damn, I don't have a beat comment. Took it. All right, you guys can follow me @Ann Campea as well as A Campea on Snapchat, and that's it.
And can't be ya.
Ann Campea. We have one episode and then a break, and then we're just full sprinting into the finale. So until next week, you guys, hood up.